Yes, let's call the meeting to order. Can you take your seat? We want to start. Time is against us. Apology for the delay, but when we have to do with Excellencies presidents, they have also pressing agenda. That's why we're a little bit delayed, but we are going to be very, very fast so that we can accomplish our mission. So the objective of this meeting is the high-level meeting event is jointly organized by the African Union Commission, the government of the Republic of Mozambique, and the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. The meeting is taking place today. We want to have started at 1 p.m., but due to pressing agenda of our principals, we are starting now here in African Pavilion. The pathway is to accelerate resilience building and reduce disaster loss by 2030. This is really the core of this meeting. We have our initiative or project, which is AMHEWAS, and we really want to build capacity of this early warning and early action situation room that we have in African Union, at the headquarters of the African Union. So, Excellencies, let me acknowledge the presence of President Nyusi, who is the champion of disaster risk management for African Union, and also the President of the Republic of Mozambique. I have also my boss, His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, the chairperson of the African Union Commission. So I'm sure we all have the agenda. We have the first session, the opening session. There will be a remark we will first of all give some video, I think 5-minute video of AMHEWAS synopsis. I don't know if we are ready. And then we have the statement of His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, the chairperson of the African Union Commission. Then we have the statement of head of government to be confirmed. And then we have the keynote remark and launch of the African Union biannual report of DDR. Then we have a spotlight presentation, investment in hazard, early warning system at the national, gaps, best practice, and opportunities of Ethiopia lesson. It will be presented by the Chief Commissioner for Disaster Risk Management Commission of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Then we have a discussion panel, increased financing for AMHEWAS program and the pathway to accelerate resilience building and reduce disaster loss. Then we will continue with our program. I think in the interest of time, I will just invite, first of all, His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed to deliver his statement. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Excellence Philippe Jacinto Nyusi, président de la République du Mozambique. Excellences, mesdames et messieurs, chers amis. Rien qu'en 2023, le continent africain a été frappé par différentes catastrophes extrêmes, dont un tremblement de terre, des cyclones tropicaux, des sécheresses et des inondations, entre autres. Le continent a connu plus de 3000 morts suite à un séisme au Royaume du Maroc. 6500 morts à peu près en Libye, qui a été frappée par la tempête méditerranéenne Daniel. Dans la région australe, le Mozambique, le Malawi et Madagascar ont également été touchés par le cyclone tropical Freddy, l'une des plus longues tempêtes tropicales à avoir survolé l'océan Indien. En conséquence, plus de 4,5 millions de personnes ont été touchées par le cyclone tropical Freddy et plus de 711 personnes ont perdu la vie. Des centaines d'autres ont été déclarés disparus. Ces événements extrêmes affectent les moyens de subsistance des populations à travers l'ensemble du continent. Pour contribuer au renforcement de la résilience et à la réduction des pertes dues aux catastrophes, l'Union africaine, conformément à l'agenda 2063, a mis en place la stratégie régionale africaine de réduction des risques de catastrophes. La Commission de l'Union africaine a élaboré le programme qu'on appelle Système africain d'alerte rapide et d'action rapide multirisque. Ce programme vise à assurer une meilleure coordination de la gestion des risques et des catastrophes. Le lancement de son plan d'action l'a été à l'occasion de la réunion de l'Organisation météorologique mondiale lors du sommet africain sur le climat à Nairobi, au Kenya. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, investir dans ce programme est essentiel pour sauver des vies et protéger les acquis de développement durement engagés en Afrique. Je voudrais vous remercier, Monsieur le Président de la République de Mozambique, champion de l'Union africaine pour la gestion des risques de catastrophes, pour avoir accueilli cet événement sur le financement accru du programme des systèmes d'alerte rapide et d'action rapide multirisque de l'Afrique, pour accélérer le renforcement de la résilience et réduire les risques dus à catastrophes. Je souhaite également saisir cette occasion pour saluer votre leadership, votre engagement et votre action sans faille dans la mobilisation des ressources pour la mise en œuvre de ce programme. J'appelle la communauté internationale, l'ensemble de nos partenaires, à conjuguer leurs efforts à ceux du champion pour débloquer des fonds pour ce programme particulièrement important pour le continent. Je voudrais saisir cette occasion pour reconnaître la contribution financière importante de nos États membres et de nos partenaires de développement pour soutenir ce programme, en particulier l'Union européenne et la Suède, ainsi que les partenaires de mise en œuvre et la Fondation de recherche CIMA. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, la Commission de l'Union africaine se félicite du partenariat et de la coopération qui sont essentiels à la réalisation de l'agenda 2063. Et je voudrais donc saisir cette occasion pour appeler tous nos partenaires à soutenir ce programme vital afin de contribuer au renforcement de la résilience et à la réduction des pertes dues aux catastrophes. Je vous remercie.
Merci, Excellence, Monsieur le Président, pour votre discours. Je voulais, sans plus tarder, inviter Son Excellence, le Président Philippe Jacinto Nyusi, Président de la République de Mozambique, et aussi le champion de management, disaster risk reduction. Monsieur le Président, je vous invite pour faire votre... I'm inviting you to come and present your keynote remarks and the launch of the African Union biannual report for DDR. Excellency, with due respect, you have the floor.
Muito obrigado. Senhor Mustafa Mohamed, presidente da Comissão da União Africana, ministros aqui presentes, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, Quero agradecer a minha irmã, que quase que não dorme, tudo a fazer para que haja tranquilidade e se mitigue os efeitos negativos das mudanças climáticas. E antes de tudo, peço que uma saudação de palma à União Africana e à nossa representação. Estou profundamente honrado em dirigir-me a esta distinta plateia, não apenas como Presidente da República de Moçambique, um país ciclicamente afetado pelos eventos extremos, mas também como campeão da União Africana para a gestão do risco de desastres. Gostaria antes, porém, de aproveitar esta oportunidade para mais uma vez publicamente expressar solidariedade às pessoas, aos governos dos Estados-membros da União Africana que perderam os seus entes queridos devido a catástrofes e diferentes desastres de magnitude e escala variadas desde o início da época chuvosa. E o Presidente da Comissão disse alguns dos países que foram afetados. Gostaria igualmente de felicitar a Comissão da União Africana e os parceiros pela criação, num curto espaço de tempo, de 4 salas de situação do sistema de alerta prévio e ação precoce para os riscos múltiplos. É uma enorme conquista, considerando o prazo e os recursos que o continente se dispõe. No último COP em Sharm el-Sheikh, no Egito, tínhamos informado que programas de AMHEWAS, ou Programa do Sistema Africano de Alerta Prévia e Ação Antecipada para os vários tipos de ameaças, visava alcançar todas as comunidades econômicas regionais da União Africana e Estados-membros, como também assegurar a interoperacionalidade dos diferentes sistemas a nível vertical e horizontal. Na altura, também apelamos aos parceiros da África, em particular os países mais desenvolvidos, para apoiarem este programa. Hoje, voltamos a fazer o mesmo apelo para apoiar este programa que torna proativa a gestão de riscos e ativação de respostas aos riscos de desastres no continente para incrementar a resiliência e reduzir os danos e perdas. Nos últimos anos, os desastres aumentaram exponencialmente no continente africano, decorrentes das alterações climáticas. A mudança sem precedentes no clima, com a degradação ambiental causada pelo homem, aumentou a vulnerabilidade das pessoas, afetando gravemente as suas vidas e os meios de subsistência. O programa AMHEWAS, que visa reduzir substancialmente as perdas continentais por catástrofes até 2030, para atingir os seus objetivos, é preciso: 1. Conhecimento robusto de riscos múltiplos. 2. Capacidade de previsão, detenção, monitoria e análise. 3. Informações sobre riscos de desastres disponíveis e acessíveis ao público africano. E 4. Ter uma África preparada para desastres. Um estudo recente indica que, de 2018 a 2020, houve um aumento no número de sistemas de aviso prévio multiriscos de 61 para 81 em todo o continente africano, com uma diminuição correspondente no índice de exposição de África no mesmo período. Esta conclusão aponta para a necessidade de fortalecer o sistema africano de desvio prévio multiriscos e ação antecipada como meio de reduzir a exposição e a vulnerabilidade do nosso continente e de melhoria da resiliência das infraestruturas e o aumento da capacidade das comunidades para resistir aos impactos das catástrofes. No meu país, Moçambique, em reconhecimento da importância de ter informações fiáveis sobre o clima e tempo disponíveis a tempo para avaliar o nível de risco e vulnerabilidade e tomar as melhores decisões. Em março de 2022, lançamos uma iniciativa denominada Um Distrito, uma Estação Meteorológica, com o objetivo de construir uma estação meteorológica em todos os distritos do país. Excelências, explorando a era digital na gestão do risco de catástrofes, devemos aproveitar o poder de dados, de inteligência artificial e de outras ferramentas para podermos melhorar a nossa capacidade de prevenir, preparar e responder a catástrofes de forma mais eficiente e atempada. Eu aproveito esse espaço para comunicar e convidar a todos os países africanos e todos os nossos parceiros neste sentido de proteção da humanidade que iremos organizar uma conferência internacional no mês de abril próximo, em cooperação com o ICSF nos Estados Unidos, em Washington, D.C., vai ter como tema principal a proteção da floresta de Miombo. É grande floresta que ocupa grande parte da zona da África Austral, estendendo-se até o Congo. E estamos, neste momento, a nos organizar e, por isso mesmo, gostaríamos que acompanhasse este processo, porque vai ser uma grande oportunidade para nós protegermos a humanidade através da floresta de Miombo. Para terminar, gostaria de exortar aos Estados-membros, aos parceiros de desenvolvimento e à comunidade internacional em geral para apoiarem o programa AMHEWAS com recursos financeiros e técnicos para acelerar a construção de resiliência e reduzir as perdas causadas por desastres para cumprir a nossa meta até 2030. Vamos todos reafirmar o nosso compromisso em continuar a trabalhar para uma África mais resiliente e não tem que ser obra daqueles que nós elegemos ou escolhemos para estar em frente das missões da África. Tem que ser uma obra de nós todos e um compromisso de todos os países. Vamos trabalhar de mãos dadas para superar os desafios que temos para frente e criar um futuro onde estaremos melhor preparados para evitar mais e maiores danos e perdas causados pelos desastres. Tenho estado a dizer aos meus homólogos presidentes, sim, vamos às conferências, vamos às palestras, mas temos que ter uma ação concreta, específica, nos nossos países e no nosso continente. Cada um, quando acorda, nasce, tem que pensar o que o meu país fez para resolver esse problema. Apoios, sim, parcerias, sim, mas nós temos que ter um compromisso, cada dirigente, e isso só vai ser possível com um compromisso político enorme. Pela atenção que me foi dispensada, eu agradeço. Obrigado.
Vou convidar. Muito obrigada, Excelência Presidente, pela vossa perspectiva como que é campeão dessa causa de gestão de catástrofe natural. E gostaria também de aproveitar essa oportunidade, Excelência, para convidá-lo para fazer o lançamento do relatório bienal sobre o risco de catástrofe natural. Excelência, outra vez, e gostaria também de convidar a Sua Excelência, Presidente da Comissão da União Africana, para vos acompanhar neste lançamento do nosso relatório. Muito obrigada.
Minhas senhoras, meus senhores, como disse durante a minha intervenção, nós tivemos momentos muito longos da elaboração do relatório para podermos ver o que fizemos e o que não fizemos. Este tem sido o método da União Africana, avaliar para poder perspectivar com alguma lógica. Então, fez-se o balanço portanto, o segundo relatório, neste caso do biênio 2019-2020, levou tempo. Faço neste momento apenas para agradecer a todos que trabalharam a partir da União Africana neste trabalho, em coordenação com Moçambique, neste caso concreto, como estamos a liderar a iniciativa. Mas, mais uma vez, agradecer e dizer que é um instrumento que estamos a lançar que merece o seu seguimento. Se nós quisermos trabalhar com evidências científicas, precisamos de analisar aquilo que fazemos para podermos definir o que temos que fazer em diante. Esta é uma obra concreta da União Africana de que aquilo que se diz até 2030, a partir de COPs em COPs, e mesmo dos compromissos de Paris, a União Africana tem sido responsável em tentar concretizar aquilo que foi decidido. E aqui está lançado, portanto, o sinopse, que é o relatório bienal 2019-2020. Felicitações à União Africana.
Muito obrigada, Presidente. Merci beaucoup, mon Président. Ça, c'est du concret, c'est du vrai. Et je dédie ça au Président, au champion, et le Président de la Commission, Moussa Faki. Notre commission, la Commission Moussa Faki, produit des rapports. Et ça, ce sont des rapports scientifiques. Vraiment, encore une fois, nous sommes contents parce qu'ici, il y a les faits, il y a la science qui parle. Donc vraiment, je félicite aussi mon équipe qui est là pour le travail accompli. Et voilà le premier rapport sur la situation des catastrophes naturelles dans notre continent. Je vous remercie. I don't know if President Nyusi still has the time. I would like to invite, I don't know if Ethiopia is here to showcase about the way they are mitigating the impact of DDR. Ethiopia? Because I have them in the program. In the interest of time, let us go to the next panel, which is increased financing for AMHEWAS program, a pathway to accelerate resilience, building and reduction of this disaster loss. With this, let me start first of all by calling Mr. Petit Tahas, WMO Secretary General, to come and share your experience and your program. We've been working together, and you have the floor. Over to you.
I am going to chair one section more, but my people are still here.
Thanks for your great work so far. So, dear participants, it's a pleasure to be here, and we noticed that less professional people were leaving the room, and the most serious friends of early warning services were staying here. So, thanks for Thanks for that. I'd like to thank African Union, especially Commissioner Sacco, for hosting us here and organizing this event. And from WMO's side, we have had excellent cooperation with African Union Commission and especially with Commissioner Sacco during the past years. And we are dealing with weather, climate, and water issues, and we are also the host agency of IPCC. And we have started publishing also reports on the status of climate in Africa, and where we have shown that Africa is very vulnerable to impacts of climate change and growing amount of disasters that you have been also facing. We just published yesterday status of climate report where we saw that this year is going to be the warmest year on record. We are already at 1.4 degrees warming, and we have started seeing a growing amount of disasters. There has been threefold increase of disasters in Africa, and an eight times increase of economic losses during the past 50 years. And we know that the economies of African countries, they are hit much more than the rich countries. In rich countries, when a disaster hits a country, there may be up to 1% drop of the GDP, whereas in African countries we have seen economic losses between 10 and 20% when the disaster hits. In island states we have seen even several hundreds of percents of losses. And this negative trend in weather patterns will continue until 2060, independent of our success in mitigation. And if we are successful, we could limit the warming to Paris 1.5 to 2 degrees in 2060s. And we have already lost the sea level rise game and the melting of glaciers game. And one of our main initiatives, which we got the mandate from Secretary General Guterres 1.5 years ago, is early warning services for all. And we have started working together with our partner organizations, UNDRR, ITU, and Red Cross, Red Croissant, and our aim is to mobilize altogether $3.1 billion by the end of 27. And the aim is that we would cover all African countries with proper early warning services. We would improve the basic observing systems through this soft program that already many countries are financing, and we are also very happy to collaborate with the African Union Commission and also recognize that there's the centralized disaster risk reduction facility that has been established there. But besides that, there has to be strong emphasis on the national meteorological and hydrological services where the need is huge. And we are lucky that many countries have allocated resources for that purpose, and we are promoting North-South cooperation and also South-South cooperation. Together with Secretary General Guterres, we have already chosen 30 countries where we have started the work, and the key issue is that we bring the national meteorological services, hydrological services, disaster management authorities, resident coordinators, and also the high government officials on board, and together we can make this a success story. And we are grateful for those governments which already have been recognizing that it makes sense to invest in meteorological and hydrological services. And at this COP, there will be this loss and damage issue approved. And from our perspective, the smartest thing is to avoid loss and damage by investment in early warning services, where you're getting the money back at least tenfold that you invest in those fields. Tomorrow we will have a meeting with Secretary General Guterres to discuss early warning services for all and its progress. And so far it seems that, for example, Green Climate Fund has decided to allocate €1 billion for $1 billion for this purpose, and the aim is that by the end of 27 we would cover 100 countries, and it's mostly African countries, Pacific and Caribbean SIDS countries that we are we are dealing with. And we are also interested in getting some financing from the host country of COP28. We have had serious discussions with the government of Arab Emirates to support the development of early warning services in your countries. With these words, thanks for the opportunity to address you, and thanks for coming to this event. Thank you.
Thank you, SG, for your brilliant presentation and very insightful and a lot of information. I don't know if the Minister of Environment and Energy of Italy is around. Italy? He was supposed to deliver his own experience, and we would like to thank Italy, because if you have the AMHEWAS, is thanks to Italy that supported us in establishing the Situation Room. So I would like to thank Italy, even in the absence here, but I'm sure for record purposes, you will know that we appreciate the support we got from Italy. When we go to African Union headquarters, please go to the old building and you will see the Situation Room that we have. And we are really performing, because we send reports twice a week to our missions, the representative of African Union member states, the ambassadors. We send them twice a week the report, and they send it to the capital. So it's very instrumental, like President News was saying, that it's really very important instrument that we have to have. I remember in February when we had the summit in Addis Ababa. President Nyusi went to visit the Situation Room, and he saw an alert of Frederick in our Situation Room. And he told the Minister of Foreign Affairs, "You can stay, I will go, because my people are dying." So he left the meeting, he did not attend. So to say how instrumental that Situation Room is really, giving service to our member states. And he even told me, because I take it as a joke, he said, "I'm not very worried about the cyclone, Frederick. Because men, when they go, they don't destroy. But when the name is a lady, it destroys like either a cyclone." So I keep on, remembering what he said. He said, "I'm not very worried about Frederick. He's not going to do a lot of, a lot of damage. But a woman, when is cyclone Rose or either, you people, I don't know what you have, madam, but you destroy everything." It's just to give a joke from the president, our champion. So the next speaker, I think I will invite Mr. Marco Massambo, Program Director, CIMA Research Foundation. Over to you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a very an honor to be here. I'm Italian, so I have a small representation of what we are partnering with. I want really to thank the African Union Commission for having us here, UNDRR and the government of Mozambique for the trust in what we are doing together. I think we are really trying to make a change. The risk landscape is getting more and more complicated. There are several factors that are complicating the risk landscape. The climate is definitely one of them, but also the socioeconomic development of our society. Our society are rapidly changing the risk, changing the exposure, changing the vulnerability, changing the coping capacity of our institution. And this one is bringing a lot of challenges to all our organizations. They are involved in the early warning system. So we need to keep the attention on all this change and try to innovate, try to adapt our tools and technologies to a complex system it is evolving. More and more data and information are also available. We have several organizations producing on a regular basis
data information. We have a good understanding of on the health science. Information that are coming from technical and scientific institution that goes from the national level to the regional level. We have been talking about the climate center, the regional specialized meteorological center, the continental institution, and also the global level are systematically producing risk information that is a big value for our early warning system. Of course, there is a challenge to improving, and Professor Talas was mentioning also many of the efforts that WMO is putting to improving, observing, and forecasting system around the world. But I want to highlight that transforming this scientific data and information that can then use by different national authority, by regional authority, by continental authority, to take decision for their specific mandate, to the national authority to warn the population, to the continental and regional authority to help their organs to be more prepared in case the country has needs. And AMHEWAS is exactly what it's trying to do. It's a network of different centers, from the continental to the regional, and the national level is on the way, that exchange data and information on what can happen and what is happening in terms of the climate, of the weather, of the hydrological information, but more also importantly on the impact and the needs the country has in overcoming the disasters. And this one is doing at the operational level, connected with the technological platform that we have developed in Shima Foundation. Its name, I know, is a bit difficult to pronounce. It's Biodewetra. It's an open source software that we start to develop with the Italian Civil Protection, and Italy decide also to include as part of this collaboration with the UNDRR and the African Union. This platform collects thousands and thousands of data coming from multiple institutions, coming for institutions at continental, global level, regional level, and I think now is the time, and we were discussing before, to have a full integration also the national system, and the knowledge that the national system has that should be introduced on operational level also in AMHEWAS. We have example of the implementation of this platform that also supports the assessment of the impact, bringing information from Met services, from hydrological services, integrated with exposure and vulnerability, trying to give to the Disaster Risk Management Authority also the estimation of what can happen in terms of impact in the real situation. We have example of this platform in other also initiative with the World Meteorological Organization in the Volta region in Southeast Asia, but I will say that AMHEWAS is definitely one of the initiatives that is fully using this technology. Technology, I always say, is more a dress than the body. And the body is more the institution, and the technology needs to adapt to the body, not the other way around. And that's why this technology is providing the flexibility to really adapt to the context that we are looking at. And this technology is really means for improving the coordination at the operational level between the Disaster Risk Management Authority, the Meteorological Services, the Climate Center, the Hydrological Center, and so on. This year we'll also try to start with the drought monitoring and forecasting, but that's how the rule, I think, should have the technology. The technology needs to adapt to the context, and this one, I think, is really one of the big challenges that we are having at us. When we face emergency or where we are close to emergency, even simple task becomes difficult, and the time is essential. And that's also where the technology play a big role in supporting all these organizations to speak the same language, to look at the same practical products and the forecasting and the monitoring products. And that is also one of the really advantages that this platform has, that those communities can really speak the same language and make sure that even the simple task it stays simple, does not escalate to become more difficult. AMHEWAS is also supporting countries that are in need. We have an initial discussion with the Director Nyamben on the support for Sudan and ICPAC as well, how AMHEWAS can support those countries that are in humanitarian needs and what kind of information can provide to humanitarian actors that are in that difficult situation. AMHEWAS is also using the platform not only for the operational tool, but also as a capacity building tools, as the tools that can support the country to really improve this coordination between the three agencies at the operational level, to improve the data information exchange at an operational level. Any country can have access to AMHEWAS platform as part of the initiative, can start plugging also their own data set and use for the operational world. I just want to say a few conclusions in this case. That there is a wealth of information and knowledge that is still there in the country that we are not detecting with AMHEWAS Center. There are a lot of scientific institutions that are producing risk information that can be beneficial to have a better understanding of what is the future that we need to face. At this one, I will say that technology can help, and what we need to focus in the next years to really improve the operational integration of those risk information, into the AMHEWAS system. The President Nyusi was mentioning that we need to go to the conference and then start to do something at the operational level, something concrete. So I think that AMHEWAS is really what it's doing. It's inspiring country, is providing some of the solution, and so be sure that Chima Foundation, our researcher, our technical people will be on the side of African Union, Commission, UNDRR, and WMO, and all the country for the implementation of early warning for all in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Marco, for these insightful presentations and for value technology. Like you said, and you said it rightly, technology needs to adapt to the concept, not the other way around. So we have to really make sure that whatever we do, we have the right technology to address the problem. Technology helps us also, in this gathering, to talk in one voice because the data are uniformly treated through the technology. And we also, one area that we'd be interested to continue partnering with you is how can AMHEWAS can support countries in humanitarian needs. We saw when there was an issue in Morocco, what happened in Morocco, the earthquake, and also in Libya with the flood. So I think we should need to really strengthen our situation room through your own experience, and then we work together. So we need also to be more concrete, like President Nyusi said. I believe more on action than meetings. Meetings will not drive us anywhere because we know the problem and we know the solution. Let us come with real showcase, and then with that, I think we can go. So I think I have a demand of the head of the disaster management of Nigeria, who wants to showcase and share the experience. But just 1 or 2 minutes, because we're about to finish. There will be another side event here. Thank you. And I still have, I'm not seeing my sister Ahuma here. I don't know if she has a representative. She was here, but she's left. Maybe she has another pressing agenda. And Mr. Amjad from UNDRR is here. Okay, before I give the Nigerian, I will give this institution. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I hope you can hear me. Excellency Ambassador Joseph Asako, it's a pleasure to partner with you and to say a few words on behalf of the Special Representative of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, Mami Mizuturi, who could not be here today. I observe all protocols, first of all. I think just without getting technical, I wanted to mention that the AMHEWAS program, which is the Africa Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Action System, which we fondly call AMHEWAS, is really illustrates a behavioral change in Africa when it comes to disaster management. I think it illustrates the fact that there's a strong recognition, political buy-in to move from the disaster response mode to disaster risk management. And it's very, I think the AMHEWAS program clearly illustrates that at the continental level, and there are many, many good examples that we've heard from Mozambique, His Excellency the President, on how that shift in behavior has moved to the national level. The idea behind the AMHEWAS program was really a result of the 2019, aftermath of the 2019 Idai cyclone that brought together a lot of the member states in Africa to reiterate the need to establish a continental multi-hazard early warning, early action system. This led to an informal agreement among member states, African Union, UNDRR, and some UN agencies, as well as countries, to develop what we called the roadmap for improving availability and access and use of disaster risk reduction information for early warning and early action, and also to use that for transboundary risk management. And then under the leadership, the strong leadership of the African Union, the development of the Africa Multi-Hazard or AMHEWAS program was achieved and adopted also at the member states level. So the AMHEWAS program really represents a very significant step towards achieving the goals of the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, and also achieving the UN's Secretary General's call to ensure that every person worldwide is protected by early warning systems. So under the AMHEWAS program, a continental multi-hazard early warning network is almost complete. The Commissioner mentioned the Situation Room in the African Union, but there are 3 others also in IGAD, ICPAC, ECOWAS, and as well as one that's going on in ACMAD in Niger, and finally work is underway to establish at ECAS in Central Africa. So this is an ambitious 7-year program. It has a vision, it has objectives for long-term strengthening of multi-hazard early warnings in Africa. So this is important because countries with multi-hazard early warning systems have disaster death rates that are 8 times lower than countries without. And we know that the warning of just 24 hours can reduce ensuring damage by up to 30%. So despite these benefits, in Africa, only 40% of the countries have multi-hazard early warning system or reported to have multi-hazard early warning systems. And in many instances, disaster financing focuses only on response rather than on prevention and recovery. So investing in disaster risk reduction saves lives, it saves money, and it also future-proofs development gains. So the business case is clear, and investing in prevention is important in mitigating losses in lives and property. So early warning system can only deliver the anticipated benefits if parts of the end-to-end system are adequately maintained, meaning that it's not just what happens in the Situation Room, but the impact that's happening on the ground. Does it reach that communication to the most vulnerable and those who most need it? So we at UNDRR will be continue to support many countries to establish even national setups to support early warning at the national level. We work with colleagues such as African Union Commission, the REX, as well as, of course, partners such as the WMO. And we'll make sure that we work through to support the AMHEWAS rollout in countries such as Kenya, Ethiopia, Namibia, and Tanzania, where work has already begun. So the next step It's important to note that all of this is done through the general support of the government of Italy, and this includes some of the work that we'll be doing will include reviewing legislation for early warning, making sure that coordination is in place, making sure that standard operating procedures clarify the chain of commands and the tasks and responsibilities. So I think it's finally just to conclude that we are committed to supporting in the mobilization of resources to support Africa and its countries to strengthen anticipatory action. And we do look forward to partnering with the development partners as well as early warning stakeholders in 2024. And it's important that, that member states, donors, development partners establish or financing mechanism to contribute to the achievement of the AMHEWAS and deliver on the commitments and to support delivering on the commitments that were made as part of the loss and damage that we heard over earlier today or yesterday. So thank you, Commissioner, Ambassador. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother Amjad, for really highlighting the importance of AMHEWAS, early warning and early action, multi-hazards, early warning and early action on the continent. We believe that together, with working together, we reach our goal and we reduce this type of risk. Because we really want to do management, early warning and early action management of these risks so that we will not lose human life and also production life. With this, let me invite Madame, the head of the disaster management, to share her experience with us from Nigeria. Is she? Here is Madame. I don't want to go further.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the need for increased financing of early warning system in Africa has become highly inevitable considering the high-level vulnerability of some of the countries that requires access to early warning alerts that can be downscaled to large populations living in massive swaths of rugged landmass. Also, poor internet connectivity and inadequate technology for early warning information dissemination have called for the need for increased financing of Africa Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Action System Program. For us at Nigeria, our approach to early warning system is multi-stakeholding, involving relevant government institutions. This includes the National Emergency Management Agency, the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, the Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency, the Institute of Peace Conflict Resolution, amongst others. This has led to the development of multi-hazard early warning system for Nigeria, which reflects the country's hazard scenario consisting of annual flood, boat mishaps, building collapse, urban and market fires, windstorms, banditry, farmers, pastoralist conflicts, and epidemics. There is no doubt the complex hazard situations requires enhanced financing to enable it meet up the desired goals. The layers of funding range from observations and monitoring, forecasting, analysis of data, alert dissemination, downscaling and monitoring of level of compliance to early actions. Within the Greater West Africa sub-region, there is the ECOWAS Regional Disaster Operations Center in Abuja. Nigeria, in line with the Program for Continental Coordination, Early Warning and Action Systems in Africa. The center is established to strengthen regional coordination for improving forecasting and exchange of data and information for effective and efficient disaster risk management among member states in the West African sub-region. This initiative was facilitated by the Italian government through the Italian Civil Protection, UNDRR, and CIMA Foundation as part of the enhanced financing for the systems for the region. We require more assistance in the sub-region. The West African sub-region, being part of the Sub-Saharan Economic Group, is faced with different hazard scenarios characterized with fragile ecosystem and economy. There is serious threat to human population, wildlife, the environment, infrastructure, and livelihoods. These have undermined community resilience to shocks and stress with varying degree on demographic structure of the zone consisting of women, children, the elderly, people living with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. Based on the graphic above, management of disaster risk cannot actualize without efficient and effective coordination of early warning systems anchored on increased financing. Early warning in Nigeria also takes into consideration indigenous structures at the community level in order to ensure that everyone is covered with early warning actions. The local structures need to be refined and modernized to meet current realities in areas of effectiveness and efficiency. This calls for enhanced financing. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm fully convinced that today's event will avail us the opportunity to network and seek for areas of mutual support and collaboration between partners across Africa and global community. I sincerely thank and appreciate all partners and individuals that facilitated this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manager, for sharing your experience with us on early warning and early action in Nigeria. So I think we have gone through, because there's another event that is going to happen. Let me just wrap up and close this section. So I would like to thank President Nyusi for his commitment as a champion of disaster risk management and for advancing the early warning agenda on the continent. I would also wish to appreciate all partners for your support to the AMHEWAS program. This is our program, Africa Leads, made in Africa, but you are working with us. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be, because if we had waited for partners to come and establish, they did establish, but that was our program, and they came, they assisted. Italy came, they assisted, and we are working together because we knew the need of this important situation room. When we had Idai cyclone that hit Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi, at the African Union, we have a unit of disaster risk reduction. We didn't have capacity, we didn't have the technology to support our member states. We felt so, like we cannot come and rescue our own continents when they have this hazard. So I happened to be invited by NATO to go to Bilbao for a workshop on migration and also humanitarian issues. And then I visited their headquarters, and I saw the early warning system. And I told him, we are just coming from IDI experience. How can you support us to have this type of information so that we can work with our member states? That's the way NATO, where he said that they are not financing institution, but they will identify one of the members of NATO to come and support African Union. That's the way Italy accepted to finance this early warning with $5 million for us to establish this important instrument that we have. So to say that it's good to work with partners, and when partners knows what is our needs and they come to help, and we are saving lives, we are saving crop productions in the continent. So I also like to call on the partners not to relent in supporting the AMHEWAS program, which is key to reduce disaster loss by 2030. This is our target. By 2030, we really want to reduce disaster risk, because when you have the information, you can rescue, when a cyclone or something, even pests, because in our own situation room, we want also to see in terms of agriculture, when the pests are coming to invade, the invasive species are going to come, like we had the fall army worm, and we had the cricket in the Horn of Africa. So all these instruments are very important for us to plan and to do preparedness in the department. They need to mobilize there is a need to mobilize $300 million to support implementation of AMHEWAS program, because we want to have the AMHEWAS in all the regions, the 5 regions, you know, the RECs of the 5 regions. And we also want to have this program in all the 55 member states of Africa. I thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.